The Goose Girl. Once upon a time, in a grand and beautiful castle, there lived a queen and her daughter, the princess. The princess had grown up under the loving care of her mother, and she was cherished by all who knew her. When the princess came of age, it was time for her to journey to another kingdom, to meet a prince whom she was to marry. Before she left, the queen had gifts to give her beloved daughter.
My dear daughter, you must be careful on your journey. Take this box of jewels and guard it well. And remember, there is danger on the road, so I have arranged for my assistant to accompany you instead of a soldier.
Thank you, Mother. I will be careful, and I promise to make you proud.
The princess was filled with excitement for her journey, but the queen was worried. Just then, the good fairy who had always watched over the princess arrived with a special gift.
Dear Princess, take Falada, the talking horse, to accompany you. He will protect you on the journey.
I am happy to join you, my princess.
And here, my child, is a magical handkerchief. Keep it close, for it holds great power. If ever you are in trouble, this handkerchief will help you.
The princess thanked the fairy, hugged her mother tightly, and set out on her journey, riding Falada while the assistant followed on a donkey. Hours passed as they rode through the forest, and the princess began to feel tired and thirsty. She turned to her assistant.
Could you please give me some water? I am very thirsty.
Oh, I'm sorry, Princess. I was thirsty too, and I drank all the water. You'll have to find some yourself. I'm not your servant.
The princess was surprised by her assistant's lack of respect, but chose not to argue. As they continued down the road, she grew even thirstier. When they came upon a riverbank, the princess stopped again.
Could you please fetch me some water from the river?
I told you I'm not your maid. Get off your horse and get it yourself.
The princess got off Falada, knelt by the river, and started to drink water with her hands. As she bent down, Falada quietly spoke to her.
Princess, I don't trust this girl. Be careful around her.
As the princess drank, her magical handkerchief fell into the water and floated away. The assistant saw this and seized her chance.
You've lost your power, Princess. From now on, I give the orders. Take off your royal clothes and give them to me.
Please, don't do this.
If you tell anyone the truth, I'll have you thrown into prison.
The assistant girl forced the princess to change clothes with her. Now dressed in rags, the true princess was made to ride the donkey, while the assistant took Falada and pretended to be the princess. They continued their journey until they arrived at the prince's palace. When they reached the palace, the prince came out to greet them, mistaking the assistant for the real princess.
Welcome to my palace, Princess. I'm so happy you're here. This place is now your home too.
My prince, this is my servant. She doesn't need to come inside. Give her some work to do.
The prince, unaware of the truth, agreed and introduced her to a boy named Conrad, who was the keeper of the geese.
By helping Conrad, you can become a goosekeeper too.
The false princess also made a cruel request.
My prince, this horse is difficult to control. He almost threw me off on the way here. He should be chained up in the barn.
Oh, of course, my princess, I will do as you ask.
And so, Falada was locked in chains. Each day, the princess and Conrad would herd the geese out to the meadow. As they passed the barn where Falada was kept, the princess would sneak away to visit her beloved horse. She came up with a clever plan to avoid Conrad noticing. Every day, the princess would sing her magical song, and the wind would blow Conrad's hat away, giving her time to visit Falada.
Blow, blow, oh, dear gentle wind, take Conrad's hand and make him chase.
At once, the wind blew Conrad's hat far away, and he had to run after it. As he chased his hat, the princess would talk to Falada.
Oh, Falada, what have they done to you? If only my mother knew what has happened, she would be heartbroken.
Stay strong, my princess. The truth will come out.
Every day, this same thing happened. The princess would sing her song, and Conrad's hat would fly away. While Conrad was off chasing it, the princess would brush her golden hair and speak with Falada. By the time Conrad returned, huffing and puffing, the princess had finished braiding her hair and was ready to continue tending the geese. But one day, Conrad grew suspicious.
Why does this wind always blow my hat away?
Instead of chasing his hat like usual, he quickly caught it and hid behind a tree, watching the princess. As he peeked around, he saw the princess talking to Falada. He also noticed something shiny in her hair, beautiful golden hairpins that sparkled in the sunlight.
Why does she speak to that horse? And those golden hairpins? Could she be more than just a goose girl?
From that moment on, Conrad knew something was strange about the girl he thought was just a servant. He decided to tell the king what he had seen. The next day, Conrad complained to the king.
She's strange. She talks to a horse and blows my hat away with magic. She also have beautiful golden hairpins.
Intrigued, the king decided to follow the princess. He hid and watched as she spoke to Falada and used magic to protect her golden hair.
I cannot believe what I've seen. She must be the real princess.
That evening, the king arranged a grand feast. The king told the real princess to get ready in beautiful dress. He placed the true princess next to the prince and the false princess on the other side. The beauty of the real princess dazzled everyone, but the false princess didn't recognize her.
Who is this girl with such beautiful jewelry and dress?
The king began to tell a story.
Once upon a time, there was a princess who was betrayed by her servant. How should such a deceiver be punished?
She should be thrown in chains and imprisoned forever.
Then it is you who will suffer that punishment, for you are the liar in this story.
The false princess was taken away, and the real princess was restored to her place beside the prince. That night, the prince proposed to the real princess.
Will you marry me, my beautiful princess?
Yes, my prince.
They rescued Falada from the barn. And so, the princess, with her bravery and kindness, found her way back to her rightful place. The truth was told, and she and the prince lived happily ever after, with Falada and the good fairy always by their side. Moral of the story: no matter how hard things get, being honest and kind will always help the truth come out and make everything right in the end.